Hi there, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are looking at St Michael's Church in Inveresk, Scotland. The church serves the parish of Musselburgh and is known as the Visible Kirk because of its prominent position at the top of the hill within the historic village of Inveresk. The church is a Category A listed building. There have been at least 3 churches on the site of the present church. The first was built beside the ruins of the Roman fort and is believed to have been a wooden structure which, according to legend, was built at the instigation of the Irish missionary nun Modwina, who died in AD 519. The second church to be built on the site was a medieval stone construction built sometime before 1547. Existing engravings of this building show gun emplacements, probably put there when Oliver Cromwell commandeered the building, or later when Bonnie Prince Charlie did the same. Scottish artillery was located here to control access to the old bridge in defence of the English invasion in 1547. Within the graveyard, there is a long grassy mound. This is all that remains of a 16th century fortification built in the aftermath of the Rough Wooing. This building was also visited and preached in by James Wishart, accompanied by his young sidekick, John Knox, as part of the armed guard. The church is depicted on a map of Musselburgh from 1832 as the Inveresk Church. By the end of the 18th century, the size and condition of the medieval church were causing concern to the Kirk session, so it was decided to build a new church to prevent the people from resorting to other places of worship. The third and present church was built in 1805 to the design of Robert Nisbet, with the steeple by William Sibbald. This was to a large extent the brainchild of the illustrious minister of St Michael's, Dr. Alexander Jupiter Carlyle. He died in 1805 and was buried just to the left of the main door of the church. He was a pioneer of the Sunday school movement, and whose autobiography shed light on a very turbulent period in Scotland's history. It was substantially altered to accommodate the innovative new trend in worship, a pipe organ, in 1895. The Lewis organ was quite radical in its design at that time, and of the highest quality. The organ was donated by the Kirkwood family of Haddington. The church contains many stained glass windows, including the notable God in Creation, Providence and Redemption window, which was designed by Douglas Strachan and installed in 1923. In July 1999, the church raised over £100,000 from the sale of 4 380-year-old silver communion cups, because it could no longer afford to store and insure them. The cups were made by craftsmen in Edinburgh and donated to the church by the Earl of Dunfermline. The money raised from the sale was used for roof repairs and mission work. One of the cups is now within the collection of the Huntly House Museum in Edinburgh. Further alterations were made to the church in 2002. The church is surrounded by a large graveyard that extends westward for almost 300 metres and is split into separate walled sections, marking its various stages of extension. These sections can broadly be categorised as original 18th century graveyard, a late Victorian extension, an Edwardian and early 20th century extension to the north, and a modern section to the far west. The graveyard contains many noteworthy monuments and graves. There is a monument to the sailors of a fishing boat from Fisher Row Harbour called the Alice of Bodham. On Friday, the 14th of October, 1881, the boat was returning to Dunbar Harbour to ride out a fearful storm. She was half a mile or so from the harbour when she was struck by a large wave from which she managed to recover, but had hardly done so when another heavy wave struck her, turning her over and sending her to the bottom with all her crew. 7 men from Fisher Row perished on this day, along with a further 182 sailors from Eyemouth, Bournemouth, Coldingham Shore, Cove and Newhaven. Eyemouth alone lost 129 souls and a third of the fleet. The tragedy is now known as the Eyemouth disaster. John Greaves, a Sergeant Major in the 2nd Dragoons of the Royal Scots Greys, who received the Victoria Cross after fighting in the Crimean War. He saved the life of an officer who was surrounded by Russian cavalry at the Battle of Balaclava by gallantly riding to his aid and cutting off the head of one Russian, disabling and dispersing the others. David Macbeth Moyer, a Scottish physician and writer who served the community from 1817 until his death in 1851. He is commemorated by a memorial statue which was erected in Musselburgh in 1853. There were also several street names in the town which make reference to him, and a branch of the pub chain Witherspoons, opened in February 2012, is named the David Macbeth Moyer. John Brunton was the owner of a large wireworks in Musselburgh. He was the creator of lenticular line used for aircraft production. Originally called Bruntonized wire, but due to the lack of a proper patent, the creation was taken over by the Royal Aircraft Factory in 1912, and thereafter called RAF Wire. John D. Brunton, the son of John Brunton, died in 1951 and left a bequest of £700,000 to the people of Musselburgh for the purpose of creating a community hall. The Brunton Theatre was built and opened in 1971. Although the vast factory has long been demolished, his company still exists in the form of Brunton Aero Products on Inveresk Road in Musselburgh, and continues to supply specialist wires for the aircraft industry. At the gate of the church, there is a monument to the fallen soldiers of the parish from the First and Second World Wars. To the right of the monument, there is a turf-cutting station for the riding of the marches. This week, we have placed the Drone Man Scotland keyring behind the station, so if you would like a keyring, this is where it is. Good luck! And finally, here is a 360-degree look around the area from above the church. Once again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, share and comment on the video. It is very much appreciated. See you next time, and bye for now.